Here is everything Apple announced at WWDC 2016. This year, it was all about software, and Apple didn't waste any time starting off with watchOS 3. watchOS has been totally rethought. First and foremost, it's much faster, making apps actually usable. There's also now a new dock for your favorite apps, and you get to this by pressing the button below the crown. And when you view them, you get live views of the apps. Now, when you slide it from the bottom, you get a control center, and this is where you can adjust different settings. If you're ever in trouble and need help, all you have to do is hold down the button on the side, and this will activate SOS. This will contact emergency services for you, and it works internationally. Replying to messages on the Apple Watch is also easier. Now you can choose how you want to reply with one less step, and there's also a new scribble option that lets you write out the letters of what you want to say. Activity on the Apple Watch has also been updated. Now you can see your friends and family statuses and compete with them. For those who are in a wheelchair, the Apple Watch has been optimized to track your progress accordingly, and there's a new app called Breathe that takes you through a few breathing exercises. And finally, you can also now use Apple Pay within apps on the Apple Watch. Next up was tvOS, and they announced a few new apps coming, including Sling TV and Fox Sport Go. And there's also automatic app downloads, so if you download something on your iPhone, it'll automatically go to your Apple TV. And there's a bit of a new look. There's a new dark mode that gives the Apple TV a system-wide dark interface. Then we have a brand new iOS remote app. This mirrors every feature from the hardware remote, but on iOS, and it gives you features like being able to use the keyboard. Siri on the Apple TV was also improved, giving you movie searches by topic and YouTube search. And you can also use a new feature called Live Tune-In. So if you use an app that streams live video, you can jump right into the action. One major feature is called Single Sign-On. This lets you sign in once and then use that for all the other apps that you have installed, making the sign-in process much easier. OS X was next, and now it's called macOS Sierra. There were updates to continuity, including auto unlock, which uses your Apple Watch to automatically sign in to the Mac, so no more passwords. There's also a universal clipboard, so now you can copy something on your iPhone and paste it on your Mac. And if you use iCloud Drive, you can see what's on your desktop on other Macs and on iOS. There's a new optimized storage option that takes older files and stores them in the cloud, so you no longer have to run out of space, and there are new features like tab workflows in all apps and picture-in-picture. Apple Pay also now works in Safari, so you just authenticate with Touch ID on your iPhone and the payment is complete. Finally is Siri on the Mac. This gives you all the same features that you're used to in iOS, but on the Mac. But it's also optimized to work better here, so you have the ability to search through files, drag and drop functionality, and you can save searches, copy paste. All of those features are here with Siri. Now, the last platform is iOS 10. Apple covered 10 new features here. First up is a new lock screen and updated home screen. Now when you lift up your phone, you can see the lock screen, you don't have to touch anything, and the notifications are rich and interactive with 3D touch. There's also a new control center with multiple pages, and that allows for dedicated music controls, and the notification center allows you to clear all the notifications at once. You can also slide in from the right on the lock screen to get to the camera, and slide in from the left to get to your widgets. And now on the home screen, if you 3D touch on an app icon, you get real-time data and rich information on what's going on in that app. The next thing they talked about was Siri. Now developers have access to Siri, and when using it, you get access to different apps. This works for many different applications and allows you to use Siri to access those. The keyboard was also updated and now uses deep learning to give you better suggestions. It can look at everything that you are doing and suggest locations, contact info, and many more things just based on the context of what you're typing. The Photos app also got an update with new Places section, computer vision to automatically find people, places, and objects and images, and a new Memories tab that automatically aggregates images and videos from different events and puts them into one place, and also creates a movie for you to watch. The Maps app was totally redesigned, and from the bottom you can search, see proactive suggestions, and filter those. Navigation also shows you more information and has live traffic, and you can also easily search for places to eat or fill up while you're in the navigation view. Maps is also open to developers, so for instance, when looking for directions, you can get a ride from Uber right in the app without having to go anywhere else. Overall, the new Maps app is just much cleaner and much easier to find what you're looking for. Now, Apple Music was another place that was completely redesigned. Now it's more clear where you are in the app and what you're supposed to do there. So you have a library tab that shows you all of your music, a For You tab that shows you suggested music, a Browse tab where you can find music, and a Radio tab for listening to Beats One or different radio stations. Also, when listening to music, you now have lyrics available, and overall, it's a much needed redesign of Apple Music. News also got a redesign and now has a better layout with top stories, trending, topics you're interested in, suggested topics, and featured stories. There's also now breaking news notifications and the ability to subscribe to different publications like magazines and newspapers right within the News app. Next is HomeKit, and now there's a dedicated app where you can control everything in your home from one place, and the app is called Home. Aside from in the app, it's also available on the lock screen, the control center, and the Apple Watch, and when you're away from home, the Apple TV acts as a secure point so you can still stay informed about what's happening. The phone app also received some updates with the ability to transcribe voicemail messages and the ability for third-party clients to look as if they are a native call. Also, there's a third-party API that allows you to know if an unknown number you're getting a call from is spam. Also, if your company uses Cisco, you can get your work phone calls right on your personal iPhone. Messages was the last app that they covered, and it was a pretty big update. Now there are rich links so you can actually see what a link is, and there are camera improvements that make sending images faster. Now emojis show up bigger, and there's emoji prediction and the ability to automatically change words into emoji. The speech bubbles can now change with different effects to give them different moods, and there are whole screen effects to go with those moods. Also, digital touch from the Apple Watch is available here, and you can use that to send messages. Lastly is developer support, so now third parties can add things like stickers, payments, and many other services right into the Messages app. Apple also talked about privacy throughout the keynote, and they're using what they call differential privacy, and this helps discover usage patterns of large numbers of users without compromising individual privacy. So privacy is definitely something they're focused on. And the last thing that they talked about was Swift. They announced a new app for the iPad called Swift Playgrounds, and this allows you to learn how to code right through this free app. So that is everything that was announced at WWDC 2016. There are many things that Apple released but didn't talk about, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel by subscribing and visit MacRumors.com. Thanks for watching. My name is Matt Gonzalez with MacRumors, and I'll see you next time.